Hey there, Pokemon fans. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of vintage Pokemon cards to find out which one truly reigns supreme in the original Pokemon TCG. Now, when you think of the strongest card, names like Charizard or Blastoise probably pop into your head, right? Well, what if I told you there's a hidden monster lurking in the shadows? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be shocked to discover who the real heavyweight champ is. Spoiler alert, it's definitely not who you think. Let's get the ball rolling by introducing some contenders. Let's start with one that you probably assumed was the strongest, the fiery favorite, Charizard. With a whopping 120 HP and a devastating fire spin, Charizard has been the poster Pokemon for many trainers for ages. Fire spin at 100 damage was the largest in the game at the time, which was incredibly tempting and oh so satisfying to use. You may be surprised to hear that Charizard is mediocre at best. There are two big things really working against him. The first, he's a stage 2 evolution, so it takes multiple turns just to get him on the field. Yes, you can use a card like Pokemon Breeder to speed this up, but you still run into a major second problem: his energy requirements. It takes a whopping 4 energy to use his attack. In the best case scenario, you get 2 double colorless energy attached to him in 2 turns, and utilize his Pokemon Power Energy Burn to turn them into fire energies. But doing that would be incredibly lucky. It would require getting 2 double colors, Charmander, Pokemon Breeder, and Charizard all in your hand within the first couple turns, all while fending off your opponent. To top it off, you have to discard 2 energy every single time you use the move Fire Spin, which means it's going to take you a turn or 2 again just to attack. All of this info is even before considering what the meta in the game was. There are 2 very important trainer cards that were incredibly powerful to use and absolutely infuriating to have used against you: Energy Removal and Super Energy Removal. Imagine trying to set up all your energy while getting attacked and having your opponent removing energy every time you add it. At this point, you should definitely be able to see why Charizard was so hard to play. If you really loved fire types, you're better off using someone like Ninetales or Arcanine, who are fairly similar to Charizard, but stage 1s instead of 2s. However, they were still nowhere near as good as our true top contenders that I'm going to get to. I would feel bad if I didn't briefly mention the lovely frog flower Venusaur. Unfortunately, we run into similar problems that we did with Charizard. He's a big, bulky stage 2 that requires a bunch of energy and only does 60 damage. His Energy Trance Pokemon Power definitely wasn't useless, with the ability to move grass energy around, but Venusaur didn't really see any success until the Jungle set came out, a future video. Now, you're probably thinking there's a trend here, all of our beloved starter lines being weak in the TCG. Luckily, our favorite water tank bucks this trend. Blastoise was actually incredibly useful. He makes up 1/2 of what was probably the second most powerful deck in the base set, Rain Dance. It was named for his Pokemon power. At first glance, Blastoise has all the drawbacks of Charizard and Venusaur by being slow to set up, but attacking with Blastoise wasn't its most optimal use, although his Hydro Pump attack was still decent. Instead, if you pair Blastoise with Gyarados, you took 2 decent, middle-ish tier Pokemon and made a powerhouse combo. Remember those 2 trainer cards I mentioned before, Energy Removal and Super Energy Removal? Basically every deck had them, and now we had a direct way to deal with it. Rain Dance allowed adding as many water energy from your hand onto your Pokemon as you wanted in a single turn. This means you can take a decent stage 1 water type like Gyarados, who was a very respectable attack in Dragon Rage, 50 damage for 3 energy, and a solidly bulky 100 HP, and set him up in 2 turns. You may be wondering, why not just load up Blastoise with energy and attack with him for up to 60 damage? Well, if he goes down, then you lose the Rain Dance power. But just as importantly is the weaknesses. Taking damage from a Pokemon type you were weak to means double the damage. Yes, you heard that right. Double. Gyarados is weak to Grass type, and Grass was not popular at all in the base set. Blastoise is weak to Lightning, and oh boy, was Lightning powerful. 50% Beak, 50% Electricity. Enter Zapdos. Paired with his electric counterpart, Electrode, they made a formidable deck. This deck is what people imagine Charizard to be. Big, powerful blast doing 100 damage and knocking out almost all Pokemon in one hit, or using consistent 60 damage attacks. You're probably asking, hey wait, this guy has huge energy requirements too. Yeah, you're correct. This is why Electrode was useful. His ability Buzz Zap allows you to knock him out and attach him to another Pokemon as if he was 2 energy. This was a very high risk, high reward kind of deck, but is one part of the reason why we talked about Blastoise being paired with Gyarados. Before we get to that other reason, let's take a look at our final contender pairing, Champ and Alakazam. We're taking advantage of 2 useful abilities here. the brawny fighter Machamp with 100 HP and a solid 60 damage attack, has a very useful ability. Strikes Back triggers every time he takes damage from an attack and it deals 10 damage right back. Pretty useful in its own right, but when we pair it with Alakazam's ability Damage Swap, which allows you to move damage from one of your Pokemon to another, it really starts to shine. These two things synergize well because both Machamp and Alakazam are Stage 2 Pokemon and take a bunch of time to set up, meaning we don't want to lose them if we can avoid it. Despite this cool combo, we still see big drawbacks with energy reliance and countering the energy removal problem, making this combo a little on the slow side. Seems like a common theme here, right? Now that we've looked at our top contenders, you might be wondering, who could possibly outshine these heavy hitters? Any guesses? What if I told you that the real champ is actually a card that most overlook? A card that doesn't scream attention, but quietly packs a punch. And the strongest base set Pokemon card is Hitmonchan.
Huh?
Surprised? Shouldn't be. Let's break down why this little boxing champ deserves the title. Hitmonchan has a respectable 70 HP, a 20 damage, and a 40 damage attack. It's not the flashiest, but hang tight, you may already be seeing why this guy is so strong. Here's the real kicker. Hitmonchan doesn't require a lot of energy to unleash his punches. This makes him an efficient attacker, ready to go when you need him most. In a world where energy management can make or break your game, Hitmonchan is a true juggernaut. Imagine playing against a deck that utilizes Stage 1 or 2 Pokemon. You can dish out 20 or even 30 damage if using a plus power on your very first attacking turn. This is enough to one-hit KO cards like Magikarp and Abra, who show up in 2 of our other strongest decks. The ability to immediately dish out damage, paired with the easiest possible setup by being a basic Pokemon, comboed with using energy removals, means you're stalling and chipping away at your opponent right from the get-go. In a game where it takes 3 to 6 turns for them to set up their side of the table, you could have already dished out 160 or more damage, most likely already halfway to winning the game. Let's say it doesn't quite go your way and they set up early enough to take out your Hitmonchan. Well, who cares? You should have 3 more of them in your deck and you're already back on the board hitting at least 20 damage in return. To turn things even more in your favor, there's a direct counterpart to Hitmonchan that is almost as strong, and it even covers that Blastoise weakness that I mentioned before. Electabuzz. Everything that made Hitmonchan strong also makes Electabuzz good. Now you can have a deck with the simplest Pokemon setup, just a bunch of Hitmonchan and Electabuzzes, no evolution required. This allows you to load up on those juicy trainer cards that make you even more powerful. This Pokemon combo resulted in a deck that absolutely dominated the early version of the Pokemon TCG, dubbed the Haymaker deck. It was so strong it stuck around even through expansions like the Jungle set and beyond. These are the earliest recorded English tournament results I could find, and they already included cards from the Jungle set and some promos. But look how many Hitmonchans there are. There's no question he was the king. So there you have it. While Charizard and Blastoise may have all the love, Hitmonchan is the real unsung hero of the base set. Next time you're looking through your cards, don't forget to give this little fighter a second look. Thanks for joining me on this Pokemon mystery. If you enjoyed the suspense and the revelations, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more Pokemon goodness. Share your thoughts in the comments. Did you play the Pokemon TCG when it first came out? Who did you think was the strongest Pokemon card? Look out for my next video where I take a look at the Jungle expansion and see if a new king gets crowned. Until next time.